So hi everybody, my name is Scott Herman and I'm with Cognitive Space. And at Cognitive Space, we help organizations fly their satellites. We're bringing the revolution in artificial intelligence to the world of satellite operations for things like mission management, collection planning, and comms link coordination. There's massive investment going into the new space economy right now. There's going to be thousands of new commercial satellites flying over the next few years, and many, many companies that are going to be trying to get into space or operate in the infrastructure of space. But one of the big pieces that's missing right now is what we call the ground architecture, the ground segment. Basically, how do you monetize those satellites? Essentially an ERP for the satellite industry that understands things like orbits and collections and targets and all of the technical constraints of working with satellites. We're building a set of SaaS services, basically an annual license subscription that help companies avoid the buy versus build decision, the having to build out their own architecture over many years, staffing up a large team of people, taking all that technical risk. Basically what Cognitive Space is doing is helping the new space companies accelerate their schedules and de-risk their schedules. We do that through a number of different offerings. We focus on optimization. This is the running of your satellites, putting your satellites to work using this AI-driven, scalable, dynamic, and autonomous, lights-off operating capability on a day-by-day, hour-by-hour, literally minute-by-minute basis. How do we put the satellites to work, and how do we optimize their performance yield and optimize the revenue that we're extracting out of those satellites? We also focus on forecasting. In other words, what does your future look like, and how do you work with customers and investors to get the funding that you need? I may have 3 satellites now, I want 300 in a few years. So we allow you to do very high fidelity modeling and simulation, wargaming essentially, on things like orbit selection, customer targets and orders, and what happens if there's perturbations, right? If a launch slips or you splash a satellite. Then the third thing we focus on is what's called orchestration. And orchestration is for consumers, the downstream consumers of satellite-derived data, organizations like NGA or commercial entities that are looking at satellite data to do things like environmental and economic monitoring. And they need to make sure that they're getting the data they need by orchestrating collection across those satellites. We have several SBIR contracts now where we're doing orchestration across multiple commercial satellites against tens of thousands of targets worldwide. What we're really doing with Cognitive Space is changing the way satellite operations work and enabling the new space economy, giving new satellite operators and space infrastructure companies a SaaS-based enterprise play that lets them build out their ground architecture and de-risk and accelerate that schedule. We're fundamentally going to change the way we monitor the Earth for economic, environmental, and national security understanding. You can find out more about Cognitive Space by visiting our website. There's a lot of demos and a lot of content there. In terms of what we're hoping to do is we want to find new satellite operators, new space infrastructure companies, and perhaps most importantly, my request to you is downstream consumers that understand that they're limited because they're not getting the data they need yet from the existing satellite community. And how can we help you do that? Thanks again for your time.